Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 90 of Direwolf20's Enigmatica 2 Expert Mode series, where I'm just messing around with this nuclear reactor a little bit off camera, trying to figure out how it works. Obviously, like, quite a few comments, right? Not clearly a fully understanding what's going on with this whole setup. I was playing with some stuff, that's why there's like a sink here and a trash can in my inventory. I was just like messing around with stuff and things, trying to get, you know, stuff to behave itself. I think I've got it to the point where it's going to be nice and stable-ish. If we speed this up a little bit and get you to the point where your efficiency is going to get higher, right? So our temperature change right now is like a net gain, but it's slowing down. And that part I don't fully understand why your temperature change is slowing down already. I don't know if it's because there's active coolers there that don't have anything in them at the moment. But yeah, see how the temperature change is kind of slowing down? I'm hoping that I'm right about this. But watch what happens as soon as we hit that, you know, threshold of temperature. Where the efficiency like hits 90%, right? Also, we have to keep an eye on deuterium and tritium. We have enough, except when we're tick accelerating. Then we're using more than we're producing. But like, we shouldn't be doing that a lot. It's just so I can get the efficiency, right, and the temperature up there. But long story short, I have 2 active coolers now instead of the 4. And it's not the opposing corners ones. And that seems like it keeps the reactor pretty stable. And I was just about to get to the point where it was nice and stable, and then I ran out of fuel, and then everything got too cold. And it was just a temporary moment of being out of fuel because I was tick accelerating, and it very quickly cooled off. So, whoops. That time in the bottle was a little dangerous. It was a little bit. So maybe we'll come back in a few minutes to check on it. But today's episode, let's see. So last episode we got this thing kind of done, right? And to the point where we have so many perfect crystals. It's a lovely thing, right? Quite lovely. Loving it. I mean, that's a lot of perfect crystals, right? And this guy, he's just going to chill in here. I took the crystal out of this thing for the duping mechanics because we have enough perfect crystals for now. There's a lot of good stuff we want to get into now that we have tons of power, right? Like, if we look at kind of our questing book, let's look at gates here, right? So let's check environmental tech. How are we with environmental tech? Because we've had a few episodes here, right? So we've got 102 erodium. How much did I say I needed? How much did I say? Let's see. So we need 32 structure frames for a tier 2, which means we need 64 of these in addition to the erodium. So I think we're good. So let's go break this thing down and let's get our environmental tech tier 2 up and running. Does that sound like kind of a plan? That, I think, would be smart. So let's definitely do that. Because the sooner we get this up and running, the sooner we get into the tier 3 crystals and all that good stuff, right? So let's teach you how to upgrade to tier 2. Okay. And we're going to need a total of 32 structure frame tier 2s. Right? And once we get some more environmental tech progress going, that would be super cool. So we need 32 of you, and it's like, that's a lot of stuff I need. Yes, I agree. But if I put those in there, it should be less stuffs. Better. How's ore processing doing? Like, are you just a giant mess of I have a lot of junk? No, and you kind of should be. So why are you not? We should peek into the deep dark and see how that thing's behaving. So I did put the anchor upgrade on the mechanism machines, but something about that. I might be wrong, but I feel like if you close and come back into the world, the digital miner resets. That might be just my imagination. I don't know if it's because of the way the anchor chunk load works or not, but let's jump on down. Hello there. Oh, no, he's running. So that's an interesting thing. He's running now, right? Where he wasn't clearly a moment ago. So, is this all one chunk? I'm just going to also try chunk loading this chunk this way. Just because, you know, that might help. Like, because if I close the game, right, and come back in, it seems like it's not running. And I definitely have an anchor upgrade in that thing. Like, pretty sure I have an anchor upgrade in that thing. Like, sure enough that I should go back and check. Sure enough that I should go back and check. AKA, I'm not that sure. I'm almost sure that I put one in there, though. And if I didn't, then shame on me. But I feel like I did. Didn't I throw an anchor upgrade in this dude? Yeah, see? Totally have an anchor upgrade in there. Booyah. I know what I'm doing. That's a little bit of a lie. A little bit of a lie, but I have a high-level idea of what I'm doing. All right, so you're cool, right? So here's a question. Right? You guys are all doing your thing. And I have to assume that Mr. Digital Miner is going to start producing a large backlog of resources. I think I might upgrade those guys to like the next tier upgrades. But let's focus on one project at a time. Structure panels, I need 16. I also need some null modifiers, which don't look too bad to get. That requires an interconnect, which I should totally have. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if I want any other modifiers from environmental tech, like the speed modifier, which I would really like to have, we're going to need mica. Enlon's Delight, which comes from a crafting recipe. Well, that's cool. So you can craft this stuff? Neat. Just a little wither dust, black iron, and black quartz. That's not so bad. The mica, on the other hand, that requires a void ore resource miner. But we can get a decent amount of it with white laser lenses. So we might hook up one of these things today, too, so we can start working on getting mica. There's no other way to get it. But that's like the gateway into making things better, right? We're also going to need a laser core from environmental tech. So let's get our 4 null modifiers for now. That will eventually probably become speed. Wow, redstone? Really? Redstone? Okay. Let's see. I've got a... Yeah, let's do this. And where is my buddy? I should probably just, like, not even waste my time with this. Well, no, that's not true. I should waste my time with the bag still. But soon I should consider not wasting my time with the bag. Doot. Doot. Click, 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 click. And vein mine. Ta-da! Redstone for days. Does that work? Yeah, we have 4,510 redstone now, so that's cool. I like it. I like it. So lots of stuff, obviously. Oh, hey, what's up, buddy? I'm interested to see if we start getting, like, a huge backstuffing of ingots. Yeah, see, like, lots of this happening, right? So I think what I'll do is let these... I'll probably upgrade this whole line to, like, machines that have 7 of each. But let's, like I said, focus on one project at a time here. So there's your null modifiers coming in, almost. We got one more machine working. Interconnects are a little bit expensive, so that's the thing, right? And then we need to upgrade you to a void ore miner tier 2, right? So we're going to need a lens. And then that should be good for a void ore miner tier 2, right? 32 structures, 16 panels. We have more than enough of those. The null modifiers, the laser cores, and the lens. One more laser core for me would be nice. And then what kind of lens do we want for the environmental tech stuff? Because we want to get chironite, which we can get from a tier 2, but we need a purple lens. So let's get that, purple lens. I'm going to put away magenta, and we're going to get a purple lens. I may or may not have purple dye. We'll find out. Okay. And then there's my laser core. So we'll go rebuild this thing into a tier 2. Oops, wrong button. There you are. Shift clicking breaks it. Ta-da! And you're using power, 5,000 RF a tick. Not bad. So that tells us that things are working, right? We wouldn't be draining power if things weren't working. So minuscule amount of RF a tick, but you know, that's cool. And then we should start getting chironite at some point. Did we just get some? Because I feel like we did. It was fast, but we totally already got our first chironite crystal, so that's cool. So just as an FYI, the next tier 3 needs 56 structure frame tier 3 or above. 56. So it's significantly larger, so we need 112 chironite. In addition to the void ore miner tier 3 that we're going to need, which is going to be another, 54. So basically we need 200 chironite, roughly speaking. All right, let's go check on our reactor real quick. And how's my power doing? Plenty-ish. Yeah, we're doing fine on power. So check out the temperature change. See how it's sitting like right around 667-ish, 666? So active cooling rate, people were pointing this out, this percentage number. So it's currently at 170%. I don't know what that means exactly. But I think this means that it's, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen when we hit 0 here, temperature change. Is it going to start cooling and become too cold? Or is it going to just stay where it's at? If it cools and becomes too cold, then what will eventually happen is what we did here, which it'll turn off the flow of gel and cryothium. So I think we're in good shape. This will keep us at a better efficiency for a longer period of time. So long story short, just having 2 of those gel and cryothium guys seems to be better. Nice. All right, so we got environmental tech upgraded. So now let's go back into our quests, right? We did nuclear craft. Do we want to work on extreme reactors today? That might not be a bad call, because we definitely need to get into to progress in some areas. I forget what we needed plutonium for, but we need it, right? Plutonium is used for making draconic cores. All right, and we're going to need what looks to be a healthy amount of it, right? And we're also going to need draconium blocks, which, how are we for draconium? We're doing okay. We're doing what I would call okay. We don't have a crazy good amount of it, but we have some. Remember, you need lots of draconium for draconic evolution. And I don't know how crazy we're going to need to get. So I think we should do extreme reactors. We should set up one that's more focused on burning fuel than it is on producing power, right? Because we're like good on power for now. If we get to the point where this is not a sufficient power gen, then we will switch up the reactor and make it efficient for fuel use. But at this point, I think our focus should be like, let's get plutonium, not let's get power. Does that sound cool? So we're going to want a healthy amount of uranium ingots, which is good. We have what appears to be a decent amount of them. We probably want some uranium ore, because I think I saw that in the quest objective, right? Yeah, so we need... Oh, no, we just need 4 blocks of uranium itself, right? And then we're going to need 16 reactor casings and glass. So let's do that. So uranium... and then extreme reactor casing and glass. So we should probably just teach these things. So reactor casings is this. You're also going to have to know how to make this. And then reactor glass is that. So how are you? Are you good to make all that? Cool. To craft 20 graphite. Good. We know how to make graphite already. We know how to make all the things we need to make. So that's kind of awesome. I want to check on this guy. So yeah, see what's happening here is this thing's filling up. So let's speed up the ore processing, because we've got a point where we're making lots of resources from our digital miner, but now we want to speed up ore processing, right? So I think I'd like you to learn how to make tier upgrades. Yeah, you guys. Let's try Ep90 tier. Yeah. So do you already know the basic tier installer? You do. So let's teach you real quick, because it's about reasonable at this point to say we should be doing this, right? So you need zirconium ingots. All right, cool. And then the elite tier needs plutonium. Oh, well, hello there. Suddenly, the need for plutonium re-arises. Alright. Alright. That's cool. Can I just make a bunch of you? We're just missing zirconium. We have zirconium dust. And I just smelt that, I presume? Okay. So put you on here and here, and then you smelt the dust. And the smelting recipe can go into the basic smelting factory, which is already getting a little bit loaded up. Do I have another one of you yet? Or not really? Not so much really. I am very rapidly getting to the point where I'm going to have a problem. And that problem, oh boy, is going to be both the number of channels we got going on here and the ability to only autocraft 9 recipes at a time. So we're going to have to figure this out. So what I'm going to do for now is just remove something I don't think I need a lot of. Hopefully. Hopefully. That should be good for now. Let's just put like a crate. This is going to be my reminder to deal with this later. Because I'd like to get some progress done this episode. Good. Now you know zirconium, right? So now you can do a tier upgrade installer. Get me like 10 of those dudes. That's a little bit funny. It's a little bit funny. Skystone. Do I need you really for much? I mean, you're needed for ME controllers, and you're needed for diodes from environmental tech. All right, which clearly we're playing with right now. So Skystone's not a good one to get rid of. Nether brick, I could probably ditch you for the time being. Hopefully we can avoid using you for a little bit. All right, can you get me now the tier upgrade installer, like 10 of them? Don't tell me you need nether brick. Dude, come on. I can't catch a break. Killing me. Let's say cactus dye. Tell me you don't need cactus dye, please. Thank you. Thank you. That's a little bit funny, guys. You have to admit. So those tier upgrades are a little bit pricey, but not terrible considering how much we already have on the autocraft line, right? So we should be fine. And this will make my autocrafting faster, right? Because things like this will be faster, right? And this thing will be faster because we did 10, right? So that's 5 there, you know. And we'll look at what we use on a regular basis, right? Like this guy, we could absolutely upgrade. That would be cool. Nice. Super nice. Okay. So let's first start off by upgrading all these dudes. Now, I've seen in the past where when you upgrade these, it messes up a few things, but not the end of the world. All right. So you definitely need it. I'm going to say you two as well. That should be good for now. You are still at the old tier, so that's good, right? So we'll see if power starts being derp, because that's what I've seen in the past, right? Yeah, see how power's dead? So I've observed whenever you do this, you basically want to remove and replace all the power. And that should get everybody back up and running. So see now, look, we almost doubled the speed at which we're producing. Instead of 3 at a time, we're doing 5 at a time. So almost double. Right? I bet you guys derped up on power too. Maybe not. Oh, because I didn't upgrade you, that's why. But I should probably plan for you to be derpy. I'll just do that, and hopefully that's good enough. Because we've got like all this complicated stuff in there. All right, so let's come back in a minute and get ready to look at like a rather inefficient big reactor design. Kind of the opposite of what we normally do. Basically, I just want it to be really hot, right? All right, guys, we're back. So I had to take a little bit of a break there, but it was enough time to let this thing kind of settle. So if we take a look at the temperature change now, it's right around 4 K per tick, 4 Kelvin per tick, I presume that is. So like super small amount of temperature change going on right here. So I think this temperature is like relatively stabilized at a 92% efficiency, which is good enough for me. I guess that's good enough for me. I guess. Sure. I'm not entirely. So you're producing 1.5 million RF a tick. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty good efficiency. So we'll let that thing do its thing. So he's cool. Fusion reactor is nice and stable now. I think the cooling I've kind of got to wrap my head around, right? Like, I don't know why the cooling levels at 170% equates to a 90% efficiency threshold, but like, I'm not sure, but it's all good. This guy's, processing up a storm, doing his thing. Nice. Still taking care of things for us down here. No issues. Everybody's just cooking. And I started looking at plutonium. So there was something I didn't realize about plutonium. I was thinking that this plutonium block recipe was separate from the cyanide processing, but it is actually what you need to do cyanide, right? There used to be a block in extreme reactors that was called like the cyanide reprocessor or something. And basically you'd put cyanide in there and I think sand maybe, and it would turn into plutonium. But that doesn't seem to exist. It looks to me like the only way to get plutonium is this crazy block recipe, which is really just a little bit crazy, a little bit. And I feel like we're gonna need a lot of plutonium. Like we're gonna need a lot of plutonium, right? There's no other way around it, right? It's just all plutonium dust or this stuff, right? I don't see another way to get plutonium, and it's really needed for quite a lot, right? It's needed for draconic evolution, and it's needed for the next elite tier, right? So trying to find another way to do it because I'm not super loving what's involved here. It's pretty painful. It's pretty painful. I think we have to get into fusion is what it comes down to. So to get plutonium, you make them in blocks at a time. So you need a block or two of cyanide. Okay, you need an empowered Pallas crystal block, which I think we already have on Autocraft. You need a block of mana-infused metal, which is not too bad. I'm pretty sure I've got mana-infused metal. You need a block of cobalt, so that's a good time. So we're going to need lots of cobalt. I'm not sure where I'm going to get a lot of that. I mean, aside from the nether, right? We might look into cobalt essence. That's a tier 4 seed. That might be doable. That might be doable. We might wind up doing something like that. But then you also need tiny piles of plutonium. Okay. Now, I was looking at these recipes, right? And you can get that from the fuel reprocessor from Nuclearcraft. Now, we've done IC2 nuclear power plenty of times in the past. We haven't done a lot of Nuclearcraft fission. And we kind of skipped fission because we wanted to get power gen. So we jumped right into fusion, which is a great amount of power, right? But if we want to get plutonium, then what we're going to need is fusion from Nuclearcraft or fusion from IC2. But I think we're going to do the Nuclearcraft route. That's what I want to do, right? So there's two ways to get plutonium. You can either do depleted uranium nuclear fuel, right? So we have to basically run a fission reactor with uranium fuel from Nuclearcraft, or MOX fuel. And it looks like you get a decent amount of plutonium from your MOX fuel. But for that, we need MOX fuel, right? Which has a long depletion time, 82 minutes, but we might be able to ramp that up. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not familiar enough with Nuclearcraft. So to get MOX fuel, you can do this, but you can also use uranium ingots from Immersive, which we have some of, right? And plutonium, right? And you can basically turn 9 plutonium into plutonium. So like 3 big plutoniums equals this. And then I don't know if any of these are chance-based, but I assume that you get a healthy amount of extra plutonium out of that from the result, right? So basically we'll keep using plutonium. We'd have to start with this, right? And then once we've run enough uranium through, which has a base depletion time of 11 minutes, right? So once we make uranium nuclear fuel from Nuclearcraft, and we burn that enough to get enough plutonium to be able to make MOX nuclear fuel. And then once we have MOX nuclear fuel, we can get even more plutonium at a faster rate, hopefully, probably, maybe. And then once we're doing that, we can get lots of stuff, right? So we're going to have to get into fission reactors in nuclear craft for sure. That's a thing we're just going to have to do. It looks like it. I don't see any other way to get plutonium without plutonium, right? So we need plutonium. So that's either IC2 or nuclear craft. And because I've done IC2 a million times and I barely know nuclear craft, I think I'm going to do nuclear craft. Like, it sounds like fun to me because we get to play with a new mod, right? How great is that? So let's do that. And then hopefully we can get it to the point where we're automating plutonium. And once we've automated plutonium, we can do that. But we still need to get cyanite. So we still need to get cyanite, but we also need plutonium. So there's 2 levels of fuel that we need here, right? And then we need mana-infused ingots, which mana-infused shouldn't be, hopefully, too bad. We can metallurgically infuse mana steel for mana-infused ingots. And we may or may not have some mana infused in here already. Yeah, look, we do. So that's cool, right? And I'm sure we can, you know, throw this mana-infused stuff right into here, right? And then, you know, you're good to go. I like it. So that's the high level, like, this is what we need to do, right? Now to get nuclear fuel, right? So if we want plutonium again, to get the nuclear fuel that we need enriched uranium fuel from IC2, which, again, IC2, kind of an annoying crafting process, but you can use, instead of tiny piles of uranium and uranium-238, you can use tiny clumps of uranium-235 from nuclear craft. And you can use uranium ingots, which we are already processing. So this recipe right here is probably how we'll go about making our enriched fuel. So if we taught you this, are you able to make that? Hey, where's all my patterns? I should have more of those. I'm assuming that you can make this for me, right? Because you, like, we already have some uranium ingots, and there's an isotope separator where we get that, and we get uranium-238. But then this uranium-235, where does he come from? Oh. See, this is where things get confusing and fuzzy to me. I'm just checking, right? Like, we get the tiny clumps. I was just wondering if there was an easy way, right? So there's that. Decay hate. Isotope separator, that's what we're looking at. Plutonium can turn it into 235. And then whatever TBU fuel is. I don't know. Long story short, we get tiny clumps of it from uranium ingots, right? So does that mean that you know how to make this? Available, yes. So we have 264 tiny clumps of uranium. Do you know how to craft those? You do. Nice. See? So he knows that this guy makes it. See? So we already have that taught. That's awesome. So we should have no problem making the uranium fuel we need. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I'm just planning for all the things we need to do. What I want to start with is getting cyanite, right? So let's get our big reactor going the way we had planned, right? And basically, the big reactors, again, the purpose is not generating power. Generating power is going to be a side effect. The main purpose of it is that I want to generate cyanite, right? And I'm not sure, unless the recipe with the sand is in there, but I can't imagine it is. I can't imagine that recipe exists, right? So you can, it's reactor fuel. I don't see like the turn fission reactor. Well, that's cool. So nuclear craft fission reactor can do it too. So we can get cyanite from that. That's interesting. Do we want to skip extreme reactors and just have a fission reactor? I think not, because we want our fission reactor to be making plutonium for us, not cyanite. We should let the big reactor do cyanite, because I don't think he can do plutonium. So we might want both. But yeah, there used to be a recipe where you could basically like combine yellorium with sand, and it would make you have cyanite. But I'm sure that was disabled in the pack, and it definitely is. Alright, so the reactor design I came up with is a little expensive, but I think I can pull it off. I'm going to need a total of 49 control rods. I'm going to need a total of 336 casings, which is going to need a few more diamonds than I currently have, to be fair. But we have a lot of diamond ore that we can do that, you know, vein mine thing with. So that should help. We don't quite have as much as we had redstone, but, you know. So you just need to do that. Sweet. Diamonds for days. Ish. Okay. But aside from that, what else are we? 330-ish? Not too bad in terms of resources. Really not. Really not. Some graphite, some steel production, right? Nothing too crazy. Yeah, that's the one that I left at that tier. And the enriching factory. I could probably use that as well. Let me get 2 more tier upgrades. Shouldn't be bad. See how much faster that is? That's great, right? Much faster, much better than it was in the past. Yeah, so I think my plan will be... I think I have a design for a reactor that's basically just going to be all fuel rods, right? 100% fuel rods. So now the other question is, I need 343 yellorium fuel rods. So do we have the resources for that? We need a bit more coal and nether quartz, for that matter. So how are we for quartz? We have some nether quartz ore. And I'm sure we probably have some coal ore as well. Oh yeah, we have lots of coal. So this is all from our miner. Remember, our miner is you and you. So the void ore miner is probably what's handling all the quartz, whereas the digital miner is what's handling all the other stuff. Huzzah! Right? I could think about putting a digital miner in the nether to get more uranium. Or to get more quartz, but we'll see. Just out of curiosity, what would quartz seeds look like? Another quartz seeds? They're tier 3, huh? So not terrible to get our hands on. We might pretty soon be able to get into this whole shenanigans. This whole thing. What's a master infusion crystal look like? A bunch of fancy blocks from stuff, an ender amethyst, mana pearl. Yeah, sparks, resonating gems. That's not too bad recipe-wise, if we're being honest. It's really not. Mana diamond, mana steel, elementium. We'd have to get into Terra Steel and opening the portal to the Britannia dimension. And then some of the top tier runes. But aside from that, the recipe is not bad for a Master Infusion Crystal. We're probably going to want to get into that at some point. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't entirely decided if I'm going to do Mystical Agriculture at all or not. I'm thinking there will probably be a few seeds we want to get. But we'll have to figure out what we're going to do. I don't know. We have a lot of steps, though, right? So let me do this. Between episodes, I'm going to craft all that I need for the big reactor, right? Then we will build our big reactor. We'll get cyanite processing. And once that's done, we'll get into nuclear craft fission so that we can get plutonium, so that we can get towards plutonium. And once we have a decent amount of plutonium and plutonium going, then we can get into draconic evolution, right? And that'll give us access to the draconic core, because we need plutonium ingots. 1 ingot per draconic core is not a bad recipe, not at all. So we don't need a ton of plutonium. We need plutonium, but we don't need a stupid amount, which is nice, right? Because like each craft is going to get us 9 plutonium, and like you need a lot of draconic cores, but not that much, right? Maybe down the line we'll need a lot, but hopefully we'll get it to the point where we have everything fully automated and we're producing tons and tons of stuff, right? Elite plating from nuclear craft. That sounds fun. Litherite, dislocators, draconium blocks. Draconic cores are expensive, dude. I'm almost afraid to look at wyvern cores. Oh my goodness. Wyvern cores are expensive. You need actual shulker shells? What do I have to do? Like mob spawn shulkers? Come on, you're killing me. Palladium? Oh my goodness. Primal mana? Oh my goodness, this is going to be painful. We'll do it though, dudes. Ludicrite. Oh my goodness. Ludicrite. Killing me. Ludicrite blocks are, wow, ender amethyst, blaze, illuminite, plutonium, and okay. So we clearly have a lot to do. But for now, Deltoy signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time. I don't even know. All right, take it easy.